this group, which made a giant lava wall around their civilization. They wanted nothing to do with the politics of the desert, and they were rather paranoid about everything.
The walls keep us safe. We can't leave the walls for long because then we're not safe. Everyone inside the walls is safe. Everyone outside is not safe. They're strangers. We shouldn't trust them. Oh, by the way, also don't push any buttons you find in here.
Okay. I actually think this group was more of a cult than a civilization, but still, I think they had the right idea.
Lolly ho ho ho, and a Merry Christmas to you all, or Happy Holidays. Hello, Dipper's back with another reaction video. People have recommended ish. So this is what you're getting for Christmas. A Minecraft reaction. It's almost like a movie. It's like an hour long. And it's about 1,000 players build massive civilization and Minecraft. I'm gonna assume this is psychology related, like a study. I remember when I was in psychology class, there was like a study to see how people would act if they were like, it wasn't even like real like prisoners and guards. They were just, you know, actors being placed in a position of real people being dressed up as convicts in prison, as well as regular normies being prison guards. And the experiment was so successful that things got taken way too far. They got way too into their role that they had to stop the experiment. At least I think so. It's been a while since I looked into it. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. Unless this is like another Grox and it's just really well written. I really hope this is not a skit. Please, please let this be real, people.
In the biggest social experiment ever done in Minecraft, I scattered 1,000 people across 4 massive islands to simulate a realistic civilization. The players were given no help or guidance, and just like in real life, if you die, you remain dead forever. No! Now, each player has
can't
the
go back on the
freedom
server.
to do whatever they want. Gather resources, join a society, become a dictator, or if it comes down to it, go to war. With so many people on each island, anything can happen. But I can promise you one thing. This event ended up having the most entertaining story arc I've ever seen. You do not want to miss this. So pick a nation to root for and enjoy the video. I present to you the 1,000 player civilization experiment.
Okay, the 1,000 player civilization experiment. What do you think the statistics are out of 1,000 or legit crazy people?
Don't forget, if you want to participate in these videos, join my Discord server, and of course, subscribe to my channel.
You can?
All
Maybe
right,
this time I'll actually play
ready to be
Minecraft.
Jump if you're ready. Okay, here we go.
So they don't talk amongst each other, only through text?
On day 1,
oh, no,
all
they do.
1,000 players were teleported to their islands, each its own biome. We had plains, desert, snow, and jungle.
This is huge.
Most players spent the first day scouting their island, searching for a place to settle, but almost immediately we started to see people dying, and oddly, they were all coming from the snow island. It turned out people were freezing to death after getting stuck in powdered snow, which looks exactly like regular snow, but sucks you in like quicksand.
No!
Oh no. Even worse for the poor people on the snow island, trees were almost nowhere to be seen. The desert island also had very few trees, which players needed if they wanted to get wood. But the places where players did find trees quickly became extremely valuable hotspots for groups to settle at and colonize. Look at all these people coming together. Community crafting. They're making progress. Meanwhile, the people on the jungle island had essentially unlimited trees and were thus already thinking about other things. What did you say your plan was?
I'm gonna take over the world. This is my right-hand man.
Darbo. Hello, right-hand man Darbo.
Talk to him.
We have a villain.
While having a lot of trees did seem like an advantage at first, many jungle people found the island to be difficult to traverse, given the immense amount of trees and the hostile mobs that would spawn on the surface due to lack of sunlight.
Tree houses.
Uh-oh. This fear of traveling also made it more difficult for jungle people to talk with each other, since players could only read chat messages from people 100 blocks away from them or less. Although frankly, at least they didn't have to see what me and the admins were looking at. Lastly, we get to the Plains Island, and boy was it different
This
from
is
the
so
others.
exciting!
It truly was just the perfect island to live on, with green grass, trees, animals, and no natural
Ooh,
dangers.
they
Can't
got
pick a little
lucky.
animal family. Or farm. Not needing to worry about dying as much as everyone else, the people on the Plains Island were among the first to start mining for resources like iron or diamonds. They were also the first to build up villages and, yes, to create civilizations. Throughout the
Aw.
first day, you could see two main groups starting to come together.
Truly, they got the lucky lot. Very, very lifelike. I like it.
One of them, a democracy led by a player named Horace Crown.
Our aim is building the most beautiful and nicest city on the entire server.
And the second,
Aww.
also a democracy led by a player named Sidefall.
I just want to make sure nobody dies.
It was actually kind of odd how similar these two civilizations were. They were both located on the southern shore, they both had democratic elections, and their leaders both wanted good for their own people. I just hope nothing happens to change that.
Ish, I'm gonna make an Among Us character.
Never mind, I hope they die. Soon it was the end of day one. Players across all 4 islands logged off and made plans for the following day.
Some people just want to be evil because they think it's fun, I guess. It's just that simple, and we're overcomplicating some people who are just evil sometimes.
It was on day 2 when civilizations really began to thrive. In the southeast corner of the desert, what used to be an empty patch of grass was turning into the desert's largest nation. Hello, good sir.
Yo, what's up, Ish? The Sultan is back.
You might recognize the player storming hell from my first civilization video where he led a nation called the Sultanate. Well, now the desert dictator is back with the Sultanate 2.0, and this time with a population of over 100 people.
I want to maintain order and peace in the desert.
The rules, as established by the Sultan, included wear proper attire, do not eat pork, complete your mandatory work, and most importantly, acknowledge the Sultan as the supreme and divinely chosen leader.
See? Racism can be a funny joke. He did not have to do that. He did not, but he embraced the desert life.
Moving on, since it was still hard to get food in a dry climate, the people of the Sultanate focused on developing different types of food production, like fishing in the surrounding ocean. On top of this, a player named Drip Chicken made a chicken market, although when I checked it out myself, it turned out to be a very different type of market.
Welcome to Los Pollos Hermanos.
Thank you.
Would you like some totally legal sugar?
Anyway,
What?
we finally go back to the Snow Island. As I was flying around, I found
Oh,
what I can only
cocaine!
describe as a British shrimp. Is the cold climate really the best place for a shrimp?
I mean, depends. But look at my little friend over here, you know?
Wait, who's your friend? Underneath?
Yeah, he's fully here. He's
What?
literally...
Oh!
he's chilling.
Oh, he's up here now.
No, my
He's not
fish
gonna make
pudding.
it.
Please go back down.
Despite the killer powdered snow and the occasional polar bear, the people on the Snow Island were actually doing pretty well building settlements together. Nobody was fighting because everyone had one common enemy, the harsh climate.
Live.
That being said, it turned out that all of these snow settlements might be a bit more than just little communities. On day 2, rumor was getting out about a conspiracy that, despite them all being spread out across the entire island, a lot of these snow settlements were actually all being run by one single person whose goal was to unify the entire Snow Island under one mighty empire. This person's name was Alanulo, and he was running this entire empire recruitment operation from an underground bunker where he felt he was safe for the time being. Essentially what he would do was hold meetings with people who were already leaders of their own settlements and convince them to merge their civilizations with his empire so they would be stronger together. He would give these
So he let those leaders do all the work creating their little settlements, and he's just like, all right, awesome. Now let's big brain and unite and make an empire.
leaders' orders to fulfill, and in exchange, they would be guaranteed high-ranking positions in the Empire. If this Empire actually
They should just go ahead
succeeds in
and like
uniting
murder
all
him and take the
300
seat.
people on the Snow Island, it would easily become the most powerful nation in the world. In fact, it would be bigger than the Sultanate and the two Plains democracies combined. Will this ambitious plan actually succeed? Let's see what happens in the following days.
Wow, this should be a series. This should be like a live series. He just streams it lives. Never turns off the computer. So what, the little
We've
secret
now covered
bunker.
the politics of every island except for the jungle. So what's going on here? Well, quite frankly, I had no freaking idea. It was chaos. There were about 30 different camps and tribes spread out across the entire island, and a lot of them were in constant fights with each other.
Why?
Who are the... What is going on? There's a fight here. Here's a tribe that imprisoned one of their own members for being, quote, too rich.
I say we tax him and then let him out of jail. The well.
Damn boots, take your shoes.
So overall, there was chaos, nobody trusted one another, and to add to this, nobody wanted to travel too far into the jungle because they were scared of rogue tribes and especially hostile mobs. In fact, we actually had to remove creepers on day 3 because they were killing too many people. Now, there were actually 2 tribes that were considered the most influential in the jungle. The first, a river-based settlement called the Sea People, whose leader was killed almost immediately by a random rogue tribe. The new leader, Yeatspeak, dedicated his rule to maintaining order, but also to keeping his people happy by setting up events like stand-up comedy nights.
I got a few jokes about unemployed people. Oh wait, none of them work.
The second influential tribe was located in the dead center of the jungle, and it was what appeared to be a faction revolving around the worship of a...
If anyone's like a psychology student, this is a great video to study and then report to your teacher with.
player named Seth. Hello, Mr. Seth.
Oh, what's up, bro?
Oh, this is just creepy. You're telling me this isn't a personality cult?
Nah, I wouldn't say that. It's a way of life, alright? It's a religion.
Lastly, as I was
It's a
flying around, I
religion.
happened to run into this guy again.
I'm gonna take over the world.
Believe it or not, he had actually become the leader of a pretty impressive settlement. Granted, there was a lot of internal drama in his tribe.
Do you see this like really cool tower thing that we're building here?
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. It's really cool, isn't it? And do you see our farm over there?
Uh-huh.
It's really cool and nice. Now come over here. Could you tell us what this is?
Tree?
In short, two of Wazuk's tribe members built a librarian's tower, and he thought it was ugly and wanted to burn it down. Now, when I talked to the librarians, they said Wazuk just doesn't like the library because he's illiterate. As I said, drama. Now, the jungle wasn't the only place having problems. The Plains Island was seeing...
It's like watching people who actually are very civil and thoughtful in one place, and then a bunch of assholes being put in another spot. It's so fascinating because we're witnessing people who are strangers deciding whether to build an ethical or moral community versus people who are very selfish, untrusting, and is just developing like this negative culture, honestly. It's just like, hey, you're only alive because I technically kind of need you for now kind of mindset.
both a surge in development, this whole place is awesome, but also a rise in tension. The leader of one of the Plains democracies, Horus Crown, had found out that the other Plains nation, run by Sidefall, had reached out to the Snow Island,
Why?
looking for potential alliances. Horus Crown did
Why?
not like that Sidefall was reaching out to other islands instead of reaching out to him, so he quickly established his own alliance with two other Plains settlements, both located on the east side of the island, which would essentially cut off Sidefall's access to most of Plains if a war were to break out.
The thing Sidefall is definitely up to something, and we're planning to stop him.
The people living on the Plains Island, who had otherwise taken their peaceful lives for granted, were getting very worried about a potential massive war that would devastate their homes.
They need to have a meeting. There might be some miscommunication. KFC. Rather than assuming the worst, maybe that one guy was going to the other the Snow Island, and maybe he just wants to get resources? Who knows?
In KFC, we want family, not war.
Meanwhile, on the desert island, the Sultan storming hell was not happy when he discovered that a group of mountaineers had made their home on the mountains surrounding the Sultanate. So, the two groups had a meeting to discuss this dispute over land.
Why does the Sultanate have any more right to a plot of land?
Simply, might makes right. We're stronger, so if it comes down to it, may the stronger group win.
People in the desert were starting to get worried about storming hell's tyrannical nature, so some of them moved to a quickly growing democratic nation on the other side of the island. This was Theia, the name derived from the Greek word for freedom. I asked their elected president, Saps, about the Sultanate.
Hopefully we can establish some peaceful relations for now. I mean, we're in the middle of a desert. Why fight, you know?
Overall, each island had its own conflict between the desert's Sultan dominance, the plains' alliance disaster, the jungle's total chaos, and the Snow Empire's takeover. At least one of these conflicts was bound to erupt very soon.
It's getting hot. It's starting to get hot.
Was plains. At the beginning of day
Only
4,
on day
a
4?
propagandist told everyone that Sidefall was about to attack the Plains Island. Horus Crown called a code red, and everyone on Plains was freaking out, including these guys at the center of the Plains Island who built a tavern on a lake. I spoke with the bartender.
Welcome to the tavern. I hope you can enjoy a nice beer, since it might be our last.
So at this point, you're probably wondering, what was Sidefall actually doing? Well, it turns out Sidefall was just as confused as everyone else since he had no plans to attack anyone. The propagandist had lied.
I have no clue what these guys are talking about. I don't want to attack anyone. I don't want a civil war.
You were framed. I can't believe it. So now, both sides were gearing up for a war over nothing but a miscommunication. And all throughout, Sidefall was desperately trying to reach out to the other Plains leaders saying that he didn't want war. The other leaders doubted him, but they actually agreed to meet with him as long as they met on neutral.
The freaking Among Us guy. Truly diabolical. Just wanted to see war. This reminds me of the Batman movie with Alfred telling Bruce, some people just want to watch the world burn. And it's happening now.
Cruel ground.
I'm so into it. I'm invested.
War is lying.
Tell us the truth then.
While they talked, Horus Crown secretly had undercover spies search Sidefall's entire village, but he wasn't aware Sidefall had someone else place a bunch of TNT under his village.
This is so much worse!
Went too far.
Folks, we have a peace deal.
By the thinnest of margins, crisis was averted. After talking, the leaders had made a peace treaty. I actually didn't.
Someone schizo is going to blow it up. Someone is going to do it.
Get to see much of the meeting, but
I don't
here's
believe this.
essentially what happened. Sidefall first apologized to the other Plains leaders for not being open with them, specifically about his relationship with the Snow Island. He told them he had only reached out to Snow in hopes to get on the good side of a player named A Freakin' Turkey, who was apparently Alanulo's second in command. The Plains leaders discussed their disagreements on foreign relations, Horus Crown preferring keeping alliances within Plains, and Sidefall believing in making allies on other islands, but they were able to put their differences aside. They banished the propagandist from the Plains Island, and that's
nice.
The 4 major Plains nations created a Great Plains Alliance. The Plains Island went from being on the brink of war to being the most united island of all.
Yes! That's incredible!
Toward the end of the day, all 4 islands were prospering. From the people on Snow collecting resources and building together, to the people in the desert working on the Sultan's build project, which was to create a massive holy city. Even the jungle was at peace at the end of day 4, since the remaining jungle people were just thankful that they were still alive. Soon though, it was the next day. But before we let people back,
people can only handle so much stress for so long. They're probably just like, can we just relax for a minute, please?
onto the server, the admins and I decided to add a little something.
What is that? A new settlement, a new land to conquer.
The island in the center of the world, and we didn't tell the players that we did this. We wanted to see who would discover the island, how long it would take to find, and then what would happen next. So we started up the server, and the wait began.
Who will be the Columbus?
We have to talk about the Snow Island. Hello,
hey,
Turkey.
Hello, Itch. How's it going?
On day 5, the player A Freakin' Turkey finally gave me a full explanation of the mysterious Snow Empire, which I found out was named the Aculon Empire. Still fearing for his safety, the Empire's founder, Olanulo, gave orders entirely from his secret underground bunker.
I love how he's like the self-entitled emperor. Like, I will be the emperor of this empire that we're building. More like that you're building, and I'm just gonna take it.
While his second in command, A Freakin' Turkey, carried out his orders and led the people on the ground. You guys have settlements across the entire island.
There is a lot. Just know none of it was made by slaves.
The Empire relied on strict order to maintain peace. It's now 200 citizens were each assigned a daily job like building, mining, or fighting, and whenever they were online, all citizens were required to be in 2 Discord voice channels at once, which I didn't even know was possible. Also, the Aculon Empire made it a point to document everything, including its list of members, its hierarchies, its physical landmarks.
Organized.
But what I found most impressive was the high-level operation going on in this seemingly regular building.
This singular building is the richest place in the entire server.
They called this the Quartermaster's House, and it was where the Aculon Empire not only collected and stored all its resources, but also distributed items using a complex request system, where, for example, a citizen asks for iron ingots, and then the Quartermasters decide exactly how much iron that citizen deserves, based on a detailed algorithm they developed. Has anyone tried breaking into this place?
Not yet. Let's just say, if you tried to get in without permission, you're not gonna get a very nice welcome.
And I kid you not, just a few minutes later, this player, Xelius, was caught trying to sneak his way in, and he was sentenced to a public execution to be held the next day. Things are kind of strict around here, huh?
As long as they don't take me my squid, I'm a happy man.
They don't believe on soft on crime.
Oh man, look at him.
I'm just curious if the rest of the citizen is going to follow suit, like, okay, we'll behave, or, you know, the leaders are tyrants, down with them.
The Snow Island continued to be hyper-vigilant about criminals, but so were
This is
other
very
nations,
orderly.
like the Desert Sultanate, which made an inescapable prison. He is surrounded by lava. Or Wazuk Nation in the jungle, which made a giant sand trap. Oh, this is evil.
Just you wait until we have a nice little deliberation.
Sick!
Even planes didn't feel exactly safe, as this self-described capitalist nation made a giant wall to protect its people.
Capitalist?
Make sure the communists cannot take this away from
But as I was talking to these guys, I got tipped off from someone in the desert that something big was about to happen.
Oh my
the
god.
army's on the move.
No way. He did say he wants to take over the
Sultanate
world.
sent his elite squad on a secret nighttime mission. Their goal?
A
To
raid.
find a group of people that had been rumored to want to assassinate the Sultan. They're at the north side of the island now.
Alright, this is our target,
Okay, let's go.
According to the Sultan, the people hiding in this little settlement were indeed the attempted assassins, and now the group had a decision to make.
Oh, we're gonna kill this guy.
Do we kill this guy?
Up until now, there hadn't been any violence between desert nations. Will this be the breaking point?
Oh my god, is this paranoia? Was it legit?
We are showing the desert that if you make plans to kill me, justice will come for you.
The Sultan's elite squad spent the rest of the night raiding the settlement, but during their chase of another suspected assassin, they ran, literally, into a major dilemma.
We know he's running to Theia.
The guy they were trying to kill was running toward the democratic nation of Theia to get asylum there. The Sultanate is really about to roll up on Theia. Holy.
Oh,
Because of major
no.
conflict. But the Sultanate's army didn't care. They barged into Theia and searched every single house to find this one person, who ultimately ended up getting away. Meanwhile, the people of Theia were freaked out by the raid, but when they looked to their leader Saps for guidance, he was nowhere to be seen.
Where is he?
Fled.
What?
Eventually, the Sultanate's army left, but Theia was not going to forget this.
No communication at all to say, hey, there's a criminal in your city. We're literally witnessing firsthand how important having some sort of communication is in order to have some kind of civil society. Without communication, we're screwed. The execution of Zelius.
By attempting to blow up the quartermaster's house, Zelius betrayed our people. And for this, he must die. Glory
That's how you handle terrorists.
to Aculon.
Glory to Aculon.
It was a busy day for a freaking turkey. The execution was successful, but the Empire didn't yet have a written constitution or a justice system. So a freaking turkey met with a player who claimed to be a lawyer to set up a legal system.
You get the smaller seat, unfortunately, but do know it is quite important as well.
I'm used to cramming into tight spaces.
Afterward, a freaking turkey took his guard to Drew and confronted some farmers who he claimed weren't producing enough food for the Empire.
I swear I will not miss any payment I have to owe you.
Drew,
Oh no,
please.
their enforcement's starting to get a little too
I
extreme.
expect 5 stacks of bread delivered within 1 to 2 business days.
Even though he was a little tyrannical at times, a freaking turkey was actually becoming very well liked in the Aculon Empire because he got things done and he was a charismatic speaker.
Fellow citizens, it is my distinct honor to pronounce Steve and Pixel as husband and wife.
See, even though he was only the second in command of the Snow's Aculon Empire, many people were starting to view a freaking turkey as a better candidate for leader than Alanulo, since most people in the Empire had never even seen Alanulo, given that he's been hiding underground the entire time,
Hell
afraid
yeah.
of being assassinated. In fact,
I am way for a freaking turkey to be the leader of the Empire, because Elanio is basically a self-declared emperor, but he hasn't done shit.
some of his own citizens weren't even sure he existed. While Alanulo ruled from afar, only talking with high-ranking officials, a freaking turkey was considered a man of the people, someone who talks to everyone. In fact, a freaking turkey had gained so much notoriety that leaders of other nations were starting to reach out to him for alliances rather than to Alanulo. So as a result of all of this, Alanulo was starting to get a little worried.
Turkey knows that I created this empire and its entire political system, and as long as I am alive, I will be its only ruler.
Did you? Are you sure? Oh my god. Oh, thank god. No cliffhanger.
Our monkey religion, we hold fast to it.
This is amazing.
Here on the Jungle Island, things haven't slowed down.
I need to join the server. Never have I felt like more inspired to actually play Minecraft. I've never really had an interest to play Minecraft ever, but if it's gonna be like this, I want in.
Amidst the chaos, this small group had made a monkey religion, and their goal was to build the biggest tree in the entire world.
Monkey god.
While everyone else is fighting and killing each other, we are peacefully building.
By now,
Y'all
every
enjoying
tribe in the jungle seems to have its own goal.
Arts and crafts.
These guys building a tree. This group, called the Blue Cross, provided food and shelter to refugees. Meanwhile, Wazuk's goal, which
Where's
was
Blue
still
Shield?
to take over the world, was seemingly driving him mad, especially after the librarians built a second tower. You did this out of spite, didn't you?
Yeah, no. Well, yeah.
Overall, it seemed like there was a lot on Wazuk's mind, as if he was planning something big.
He's not charismatic enough. No one respects him. See, this right here, simulation or not, this just like proves there are just some natural leaders that exist. Just because you want to be a leader doesn't mean you'll be a good leader. Some people just naturally have that talent. You know, yeah, actually, can we put the actual people who are in government in a Minecraft simulation so we can naturally see what happens there organically? Organically, let us witness who is a leader. I want to witness that. Oh my god, wouldn't that be the dumbest thing ever? Is like if you want to be part of like parliament or judicial system or just anything government related, you have to apply and run a Minecraft simulation. That way we can grade your performance. I think that should be a thing.
Meanwhile, Seth and the Sea People were still the two biggest tribes in the jungle, and both pursued very innovative political strategies. For example, Seth got married, but only so he could parade around the jungle and demand wedding gifts from everyone. And you know what? It freaking worked. The Sea People, on the other hand, had taken on a massive goal, which was to finally end the chaos in the jungle. And they did this by sending out stealth groups and hunting down thieves, murderers, and anyone who they claimed did wrong. However, some of the supposed wrongdoers they killed were actually allies of Seth. In response, Seth demanded that the Sea People stop their initiative immediately, but the Sea People planned to continue. All of a sudden, the jungle island was on the verge of a massive war, as if there wasn't enough chaos already.
No trust. Pokemonkey. I love it.
Wait, is someone actually here?
I think so.
Whoa.
The Explorer.
This is awesome.
On day 7, a player named the Pokemonkey discovered the secret 5th island. The island had a mysterious dead terrain, a small pre-built village in the center, and underground, it contained netherite, which is the strongest and rarest resource in the world.
Ooh!
Now, Pokemonkey was a part of Sidefall's nation in Plains, and he quickly alerted Sidefall about the very strange and unexpected discovery he'd just made. He's taking the blue lantern so people believe him. Guys, I'm not lying, there really is an island! 2 minutes later, another person found the center island. This time, someone from the jungle. Then, like a domino effect, more and more people started arriving, typically either alone or in small groups, like these guys from the desert. Even though they all came from different islands and nations, nobody was fighting. In fact, they seemed to be forming friendships and simply admiring this new mysterious place.
There no war?
Amazing. Quickly, word began spreading across the world that there was a 5th island, and about...
I was predicting a war coming, but maybe this will be like the centralist island where all the nations come together. Will they form a pact? A peace?
30 minutes into day 7, basically everyone knew. It was crazy how fast everyone found out. Now, some nations were hesitant about visiting, believing that the island was some sort of trap, while other nations like the Aculon Empire sent out large exploratory groups to investigate the island. So Aculon is here, but instead of mining for netherite, they're taking the wool from the tents.
The wool?
They don't have sheep in the snow island. That makes sense. Something I found
what they value differs.
No nation, not even the Snow Empire, had the courage to publicly claim the center island as part of their nation, as their territory, probably because it would result in conflict with other nations, which was my secret intention when adding the island, that it would cause some type of war. But it didn't cause a war, or maybe just not yet.
I think it's a not yet situation. I can see them trying to devise a plan while trying to get the resources.
I present to you the story of Los Pollos Hermanos.
Holy crap!
Wow, you've really expanded your business.
Yeah, we're doing quite well.
Because starvation was such a big problem in the desert, Drip Chicken had made it his life's mission to feed the people of the desert. And ever since I spoke with him on day 2 next to his little food stand, Los Pollos Hermanos had become a staple of the Sultanate.
The Chicken Brothers.
This business would soon run into some problems. See, on days 4 and 5, the Sultan storming hell was unsatisfied with the slow progress on his build project, the Holy City. So he demanded that the farmers of the Sultanate stop growing food and instead work on his build project. And just like that, the food supply going into Los Pollos Hermanos had completely stopped.
Oh
no! The restaurant suddenly had no food available to sell.
How are they gonna
Having no
survive?
food, Drip Chicken was instead forced to sell some questionable products, and
Questionable products? Okay, hold on. I can see the people eventually turning on the Sultana guy because they need food to eat. The priorities are not right. They're not correct. He's demanding this building, this religious structure to be built faster. What are they going to do if they die out because there's a lack of food? I see a rebellion in-house.
if he was caught selling these products by either the Sultan or the Sultan's twin guards, he would probably receive a life sentence in the Sultanate prison. Meanwhile, the farmers of the Sultanate were unhappy since they wanted to farm, not be forced to build. So in a rebellious move on day 5, Drip Chicken and the farmers secretly set up a meeting with Saps, the leader of—
Oh my god, am I gonna see? I'm sorry with the way this is gonna come out for some of you, but am I gonna witness England farmers rebelling? If you haven't seen it yet, check out the England news. A bunch of farmers are rolling in with their tractors. Go check it out, get informed, see why they're angry farmers in England. Don't make the farmers angry. You need food to live.
Theia.
I know you want to move to Theia, but if you do, the Sultan will send his elite squad to hunt you down.
So, what do?
Go to plains or something. There's about to be chaos in the desert.
And Saps was correct. There was about to be chaos in the desert, for reasons he couldn't tell the farmers just yet.
What?
But he did tell me.
You know who Averted is?
Yeah, I think so. He's one of the twin guards, right?
He's about to leave the Sultanate and join me.
Really? The two people the Sultan trusts the most are his two twin guards, the brothers Averted and Zamta, but one of them had grown tired of the authoritarian and warmongering ways of the Sultan. So Averted had reached out to the leader of Theia, and together they created the single craziest plan I have ever heard. And this was it. First, Averted leaves the Sultanate to join Theia.
I love it.
The Sultan finds out about the betrayal and sends his elite squad to kill Averted. Then, when the elite squad is away hunting for Averted and the Sultan is therefore alone, Averted will sneak back into the Sultanate and kill the Sultan. Averted will then claim leadership over the Sultanate, and as the new leader, he will finally bring peace to the desert. Averted, there is no way this works.
Brother, grow some chest hair. Trust me, you'll work, correct?
So, at the end of day 7, Averted snuck out of the Sultanate and headed to Theia to begin the operation, while Drip Chicken and the farmers fled to the Plains Island. On their way out,
this is too
some
real.
of them took one final look back at their home, at their restaurant, knowing that they would probably never see it again, knowing that the story of Los Pollos Hermanos had come to an end.
I freaking love all of this. Oh my god,
On day 8, there was a major event on the Snow Island. For the first time ever, Emperor Olanulo had come out from his underground bunker. He had summoned the entire Snow Island to the Aculon castle so he could publicly be crowned as the leader.
Interesting.
Before the coronation, all high-ranking officials were required to provide Olanulo a gift.
I present to you a high-quality pair of premium brand sneakers.
Thank you, Applewood.
I, Baron Saul Goodman, give you this present, Lord Olanulo. My presence is your present.
I am your lawyer.
Olanulo asked his second-in-command, A Freakin' Turkey, to make a speech affirming Olanulo's undisputed leadership.
Is he going to twist it?
The Aculon Empire is the strongest nation in the world. Not because of one leader, but because of all of us.
Thank you, Turkey.
At the end of the ceremony, Olanulo asked all of his citizens to follow him out of the castle, down the main path of the Empire, in a symbolic move meant to showcase the unity of the Snow Island.
Uh-huh. He's gonna get assassinated. If not, I'll be surprised.
But this image of unity was only a mirage. There was a lot of discontent building within the Empire for many reasons. People didn't like that Alanilo's knights were constantly bossing them around, nor did the Aculon builders like it when Alanilo forced them to work on the Aculon castle instead of letting them finish their own projects. There was this general sense that Alanilo might be overreaching with his power, especially when he started spying on his own citizens to see who was criticizing his leadership. See, Alanilo believed that in order for his citizens to have a good life, they have to live in a strong nation, and the only way to maintain a strong nation was through complete unity under a powerful and unchallenged leader.
Unchallenged,
this is
a
why
tyrant.
Alanilo was fearful about the discontent within his nation, as well as the rising popularity of his second-in-command, a freaking Turkey. Knowing that
Execute
they were
him.
being spied on, many of A Freakin' Turkey supporters were becoming scared living on the Snow Island, afraid that they would be executed for not supporting Alanilo's leadership. So, with the help of A Freakin' Turkey, plus another high-ranking official, its Ender, some Aculon citizens organized secret evacuations out of the Snow Island through underground tunnels, some of which led to Seth's nation in the jungle, others going to Sidefall nation in plains. Both Seth and Sidefall were very open to accepting refugees, especially those who opposed Alanilo, someone who they believed to be a dangerous tyrant. Also, they had just found out that Alanilo had actually sent spies all across the world, including into their own nations, so they didn't like him very much.
We're not going back until there's some form of democracy in Snow.
I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
Meanwhile, in plains,
Wow,
Mr. Turkey,
they actually took the
are you starting a
refugees.
revolution?
No, I do not want a revolution. I just want to make sure Alanilo doesn't kill these people.
When are you going back to the Snow Island?
Probably tomorrow, because I'm gonna try and host a meeting with Alanilo. I just think he's gone too far.
So while A Freakin' Turkey stayed on the Plains Island for the rest of the day, Seth and Sidefall created the first ever multi-island treaty. This treaty not only established Seth and Sidefall as allies, but it also declared their nations refugee states, ones that are willing to accept all people fleeing from dictatorial regimes like the Sultanate or the Aculon Empire. As for A Freakin' Turkey's position in the Aculon Empire, he was still technically the second in command, but it was only a matter of time before Alanilo
This is like witnessing real life news that's happening now with the. This is crazy!
finds out about the missing citizens, and then it's very likely that Turkey will be stripped of his position or be kicked out of the Snow Island entirely and become a refugee himself.
Okay, prediction. I think a freaking Turkey, unless Alanio pushes him way too far, like starts threatening that he's gonna kill people, I think that's when a freaking Turkey is going to basically go ahead and off the king. If not, then it's going to be the citizens and using the power of democracy of liking a freaking Turkey more than the emperor, the self-proclaimed Emperor Alanilo. I think they'll dethrone him instead and announce a freaking Turkey to be the new emperor. Or maybe they'll just get rid of having an emperor entirely, and it won't be an empire anymore. I'm so curious. I'm invested. I'm so invested what's gonna happen.
Wait, is that a basketball court? On day 8, the center island was getting a lot of visits from curious players, and instead of fighting each other, everyone was just kind of hanging out and doing their own thing.
Look at this.
What is this? Don't question me.
He's trying to bring bees
Later
to the
that night,
island?
some adventurers started terraforming the dead terrain, making it green. This actually looks not bad. These
When the
guys,
world
meanwhile,
unites.
made a secret underground church, and they hosted many ceremonies and cultural events. What type of ritual is this? Now, I actually attended 2 churches on day 8, the second one in Sidefall's nation, although I was very disturbed by the person sitting next to me.
I'm assuming that the island is basically going to be like a new nation of no tyrannical leaders. That is my assumption. But I feel like there's no way it's going to stay like that forever, where everyone is just having free will to do whatever they want. someone's gonna start asking for some kind of order in order to get something done. Like, there's always some kind of control freak, honestly.
After a near-death experience, life began to feel more sacred, only to impart the wonder they hold. I cannot say what they are, however, right away to lead this war.
They're taking him away. Oh no. Later that night, the Plains Island received an unexpected visit from the Aculon Empire's state-sponsored journalist. I'm with the news. Down with the news. Go away, tabloids. Go away. No false news today. They're kicking out the journalists. Oh my God. Meanwhile, I ran into these Plains farmers who literally did nothing but plant wheat everywhere. Oh my God.
Look at all this freaking weed.
Now,
Dude,
right
they're
next to the wheat
farming.
field was a cookie factory in Horus Crown's nation, which took the wheat and made a variety of baked goods. See, ever since the
Ooh.
Great Plains Alliance
Willy
was signed
Wonka.
on Day 4, the people of Plains believed their island to be, for the most part, a very safe place to live, and as a result, many players felt secure enough to run their own businesses. There was the bakery, an Outback Steakhouse, boating and kayaking, two...
We could have this! This could be us if we just learn to trust and stop stealing and doing bad things. We could have this! Peace, progress, happiness!
KFCs, and there was the most recent addition, Los Pollos Hermanos.
Nice!
You made one in the Plains biome?
Yes. Expansion.
Claiming refugee status, Drip Chicken and the Sultanate farmers received citizenship inside Falls Nation, where they were able to rebuild their famous restaurant, and the people of Plains welcomed the refugees with open arms. The only person who wasn't happy was the owner of KFC, who now had competition.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, when word got out in the desert that Drip Chicken and the farmers had fled the Sultanate, as did Averted, many loyalists in the Sultanate were furious with these betrayals. While the Sultanate was still the second most powerful nation in the world, the first being Aculon, these betrayals of the Sultanate hurt the Sultan's public image, and he feared being seen as weak by the world and by his own people. So predictably, the Sultan sent his elite squad out into the desert to try to find and kill both Davrit and Drip Chicken. But
according
instead of
to plan,
staying home in the Sultanate, this time the Sultan traveled with his elite squad.
Wait,
this
the
threw a wrench
twist!
into Davrit's assassination plan, and Davrit had no choice but to keep hiding underground until he saw an opportunity to strike. Meanwhile, the leader of Theia, Saps, was extremely worried because he knew that the fate of his nation and his people rested on this assassination attempt. If it succeeds and the Sultan is killed, well, then all is well. But if it fails, it will only be a matter of time before the Sultan finds out that Saps was behind the plan, and then there is no doubt that the Sultan will seek revenge and absolutely obliterate Theia, killing not just Saps, but all his people who, by the way, were entirely innocent. Saps purposefully didn't tell any of his citizens that he was involved in an assassination plot because they definitely wouldn't approve of something that puts them in such danger.
I mean,
this tension in the
valid.
desert was really starting to get to some people, like this group, which made a giant lava wall around their civilization. They wanted nothing to do with the politics of the desert, and they were rather paranoid about everything.
The walls keep us safe. We can't leave the walls for long because then we're not safe. Everyone inside the walls is safe. Everyone outside is not safe. They're strangers. We shouldn't trust them. Oh, by the way, also don't push any buttons you find in here.
Okay. I actually think this group was more of a cult than a civilization, but still, I think they had the right idea.
They know how to stay safe, okay?
And now we go
Maybe
back
extreme.
to the Jungle War.
Oh my god!
I say war because both major nations had already basically decided that they cannot coexist in the jungle. Seth was mad at the Sea People for killing many of his allies, while the Sea People were mad because Seth wouldn't let them kill those who they believed to be criminals. Neither nation was willing to compromise on this, so war seemed inevitable.
If all you do is rely on violence, that's just the end result. Just violence. I don't see how there's going to be any peace until everyone pretty much dies, or anyone who likes to commit any act of violence are just dead. It's these guys unfortunately got involved with violent leaders. That sucks.
However, because Seth had also recently formed an alliance with Sidefall from Plains, a war between the two jungle nations would likely cause Sidefall, as well as the rest of the Plains Island, to join the battle, thus turning this into an actual world war. So, given that the stakes were so much higher now, both sides agreed to have one final meeting to maybe work things out. It was Wazuk who quickly offered his nation as a good neutral location for the meeting, and he was quite enthusiastic about hosting. On day 8, Seth and the Sea People sent their highest-ranking officials to Wazuk's nation, where the meeting would take place.
Alright, Seth. You're up first.
I think the Sea People are killing people for a lot of irrational reasons. So, you know, as an example, right? They had 5 stacks of cookies taken from them. That takes like 3 minutes to get, bro. And he's like, I don't think you should murder someone over that.
We requested he give it back, and he basically said no, so he was put on KOS and we killed him.
So that was exactly what Seth just said.
Let me add some context.
Soon, the argument began to escalate.
And the people you attacked were direct allies.
I'm sorry, but what other ways do we have to stop the chaos in the jungle?
They stole. They didn't deserve to be killed over it.
Do you really want to go to war over this?
Well, if you keep killing our people, then we won't just stand by and watch.
Alright, fine. The Sea People declare war.
Alright, let's do it.
But before we could begin, Wazuk yelled,
"Double no!"
Oh my god! He killed all of them! No!
Wazuk had just killed 7 people using his sand trap before getting away. Seth and the Sea People decided to put their war on hold and declared a unified worldwide manhunt for Wazuk. Everyone was confused about why Wazuk did this, but then I remembered something Wazuk had told me the day before.
Listen, if the war breaks out, I have a plan to stop it.
Really? How?
Oh, you'll see, my friend.
When Seth and the Sea People declared war on each other, Wazuk decided to use his sand trap and make himself the villain, so that the entire jungle would make peace to unite against him, therefore actually preventing a world war.
What?
Wazuk is now hiding underground.
Dude, that's big brain. There's no way!
After spending most of the previous day trying to hunt down his enemies, the Sultan storming hell decided to take a break from the hunt and attend a wedding hosted by a small neighboring desert nation. It was a huge honor in the desert for the Sultan to visit your civilization, so there was a lot of buzz surrounding the Sultan's visit, and everyone in the desert knew he would be there. Zamta the twin guard was also at the wedding, and he was quite thankful for the break since he secretly despised having to hunt for his own brother. When the Sultan demanded that Averted be tracked down and killed, Zamta was horrified by this order, but he kept silent, fearing that he'd be next. Zamta could only hope that Averted was far away now, hiding in a place where the Sultan would never find him. But it turned out Averted was not far away at all, because he was on a mission.
Ready to assassinate. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
He's actually here.
This is so cool!
Averted was coming to kill the Sultan, but he had to be sneaky because the Sultan was guarded by his elite team. The plan was to catch him and his team off guard since it would only take a few hits to kill him.
I'm nervous too! Like watching like the climax or some kind of season finale.
Did the wedding end? The wedding's over. He's leaving. Oh, he's leaving.
Oh, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. There's no way. Oh! What?
Oh! Averted!
Lava! He put lava on him!
Holy crap! Oh!
He didn't make it. No, he's making it.
So many times. Wait, Storming's getting away? The The elite team is on Averted big time. Oh.
Oh no! Does he have like an arrow or anything?
Oh! Oh, he's getting close! He's getting close! Oh, he turned around!
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
Everyone's here!
This is so risky! He's not gonna make it! He's not gonna make it! Please! No! It was not well planned. He was too ambitious with the goal. He's fleeing! No!
Sultan's on his way back home, I think.
That's crazy. That is crazy. He like took his own life to make sure no one knew. I hope they don't. The brother! The brother did it! He finished the job!
Oh boy. Angry about the death of his brother Davrit, Zamta betrayed and killed the Sultan, storming hell in what he called an act of revenge. All of a sudden, within the span of a few minutes, storming hell, Saps, and Davrit were all dead.
Wow!
Both the Sultanate and Theia were without a leader, and the desert island was in a state of total confusion. Now, because the Sultanate didn't have
become a Netflix film. This could totally be a Netflix series. It has to. I want it to. Can we do a GoFundMe? Can we make this happen? Oh my god, that's incredible.
Have a solid line of succession. There was a short power struggle that ended with the Sultanate getting completely dissolved. On day 9, the second most powerful nation in the world had fallen, and most of the Sultanate's citizens ended up fleeing. That being said, it wasn't totally the end. Some who were still loyal to the late Sultan decided to form their own militias, whose only goal was to track down Zamta and avenge the Sultan.
Oh my
we are
god.
called by our divine leader to kill the dirty traitor. Mashallah.
Theia, on the other hand, didn't dissolve and instead elected a new leader, a player named Jofiel, who was well liked and trusted in the community. Still, the people of Theia would continue to live in a state of fear, afraid they would be invaded by one of the new desert militias. Also, they would never find out why their founder Saps jumped off the Therian tower, which he did because of guilt. After he saw Davrit die, Saps believed that the Sultan would invade and destroy Theia, and he felt too ashamed knowing that he would be responsible. It was only thanks to Zamta that the invasion didn't happen.
Wow.
The death of the Sultan sent shockwaves throughout not just the desert, but the whole world. Many nations went on lockdown, including the Aculon Empire. While they technically weren't allies, Emperor Olanilo had always admired Sultan Storming Hell's strong authoritarian leadership. So after the lockdown, Olanilo sent his diplomats to the desert to offer support to the Sultanate militias.
No way!
At the same time, on the Plains Island, Drip Chicken of Los Pollos Hermanos was watching the desert from afar, and he was worried about these rumored desert militias. Because Drip Chicken was from the desert, he was able to educate his customers in Plains about the politics of the desert, and after Saps' death, he encouraged Sidefall to send diplomats to Theia quickly, and Sidefall did just that. On day 9, Theia officially joined Seth and all the Plains nations in the refugee state contract, and what originally started as a simple refugee agreement between Seth and Sidefall had now turned into a worldwide alliance called the Alliance of Democratic Nations, or put simply, the Allies.
Holy smokes! unbelievable. I'm sorry if I didn't react like too much with everything. I was
As the people of the Aculon Empire continued
so invested.
their daily routines, the highest-ranking officials of the Empire gathered to discuss the new existential dilemma.
He's gonna be more paranoid now. He's gonna be the next to go, man. I don't see any other way unless he changes his behavior and be less tyrannical and paranoid and keeping an eye on everyone. He's literally not giving anyone like a freedom, which was what people would admire like the most. Is just like having the freedom to do things. People will do what you want if they like you. You don't need to control them. Otherwise, it's just
They
like
were
they feel
now
like
facing.
prisoners.
The Aculon Empire had always been the most powerful nation in the world, and it still technically is. But when adding together the populations of all the states in the Democratic Nations Alliance, it is the allies that have more people overall. This made Aculon officials extremely worried. They saw this as the first legitimate threat to the regime. Olanulo agreed with this view, but at the moment, his attention was on another problem entirely. The problem known as A Freakin' Turkey.
He's worried about popularity.
A Freakin' Turkey's rise to popularity had always bothered Olanulo, but now this conflict was at an absolute breaking point because yesterday, one of Olanulo's spies caught A Freakin' Turkey helping no citizens flee the Empire. Fleeing or defecting was strictly against Aculon law. Olanulo's spy also saw A Freakin' Turkey hanging out with not just Sidefall, but nearly all the major planes leaders, which made Olanulo think, is A Freakin' Turkey planning something? Is he secretly working with the allies? Is he about to orchestrate a full-scale revolution or an invasion of the Aculon Empire? These were all questions that Olanulo was wrestling with, and the more he thought about it, the more he convinced himself that A Freakin' Turkey was probably committing some sort of treason and needed
He's gonna try to
stopped.
kill him.
Yesterday, A Freakin' Turkey had reached out to Olanulo for a meeting, and today, Olanulo accepted this request, but with a few conditions. 1, this meeting takes place at the Aculon Castle. 2, Turkey comes alone. And 3, the meeting takes place not today, but tomorrow.
Too risky!
Olanulo needed some extra time for his builders to finish a certain project.
Please tell me A Freakin' Turkey left some kind of backup plan if they execute him. Please! Somehow people will get notified to know that he got assassinated. I like A Freakin' Turkey. He's a good boy.
Located on the top of the Aculon Castle. Nobody knew why or what the strange-looking tower was.
I'm actually falling in love with these characters that they're role-playing as kings, as tyrants, as heroes, revolutionists. I'm loving it.
But Olanulo insisted it be completed by the time Turkey shows up.
Tomorrow is certainly going to be interesting, so make sure everyone's ready.
Lastly, later in the day, Olanulo sent diplomats to establish alliances with both the desert militias and with the sea people in the jungle. Olanulo appreciated the sea people's value of order, and he promised that he will help them stop the chaos in the jungle and help them catch their #1 most wanted criminal, Wazuk. The sea people accepted this alliance, but they ended up not needing Aculon's help because late into day 9, Wazuk decided to turn himself in. He's about to be executed. A guilty conscience, perhaps.
You can't live like this forever. In hiding. That's no way to live. This is amazing!
All right, Wazuk, I understand you have a prepared statement. You may now read your final words.
Yes, thank you.
Hello everyone, it's your old friend Wazuk. In the beginning, I wanted to rule the world. But I've made some bad decisions. And now, it's my time to go.
You killed innocents. Not making speak.
If there's one thing I've learned, is that time can never be your trusted friend.
Boo. So he's never gonna tell them.
Long live the jungle.
He's never gonna tell the truth. That he did it to make sure they stayed peaceful. He never told them the truth.
deciding that being a criminal in hiding isn't how he wanted to live, Wazuk instead chose to face his inevitable death on his own terms, and by doing so, he gave the jungle one last moment of unity.
Anyone else jumping?
The conflict between the two major jungle tribes was still unresolved, especially now that they were in opposing alliances, but for this brief moment, there was peace in the jungle. Oh, that was fun. Everyone's coming down the tree now.
It was a temporary
Most
band-aid to
nations
stall a
around the
war.
world took the end of day 9 to rest and reflect on how far they've come. For example, the jungle's Blue Cross tribe celebrated becoming international, with at least one charity location on each island.
Wow.
Meanwhile, in the desert, the two Sultanate militias held a funeral for the late Sultan, where they...
I'm dumb! The Blue Cross is Red Cross! Oh my god!
vowed to get revenge and chanted death to Theia, after which they proceeded to finish building the Sultan's holy city in his honor. Theia, on the other hand, expanded its reach into the arts and became the first civilization to develop music.
Ooh.
Oh. Lastly, on the Plains Island, businesses were booming and civilization.
They're getting way too they're getting way too peaceful. They need to arm themselves with more sword, shield, just weapons.
Were thriving. On day 9, the Plains Island had finished the construction of the ISH, the International State Highway, which made trade and transportation between the major Plains nations much faster.
Whoa!
Overall, the building and architecture and player creativity in Plains was simply amazing, and it was all made possible by the political stability of the Plains Island. Many in the desert and jungle and snow looked at Plains as the shining beacon that they can aspire to be like one day.
Hopefully. But what about Elaniel? What happened to freaking Turkey? Oh, here we go. Okay.
As the end of the day approached, a freaking turkey returned to the Plains Tavern after spending the day traveling around the world, visiting civilizations in the jungle, the deserts, and of course the Plains Island. During many of his visits, he was very surprised when he found out that most people from these foreign nations not only knew about him, but admired him. This was because rumor had spread about his disobedience to Elaniolo, and as a result, he had earned a worldwide reputation as the savior of refugees, the honorable rebel, the man who stood up to the emperor, and everywhere a freaking turkey went, he was welcomed with open arms. By the way, I think he would have been perfect for that.
A hero! There was a comedy show here. You should have called me over.
When it came to the Aculon Empire, the truth was, a freaking turkey had no intention of causing any type of uprising or revolution. In fact, he was strictly against the idea, knowing just how devastating a major war would be. But
if Elaniel kills a freaking turkey, he is so screwed. He is so screwed. There's going to be an actual world war.
he did want change in the Empire. During his prolonged stay in Plains, he had seen what freedom and democracy look like. He had come to regret his more tyrannical actions in the early days, and he now envisioned a reformed Aculon Empire. His new dream was to bring democracy to Snow, bring freedom to the people of the Aculon Empire, and make the Snow refugees feel safe to come back home.
I might just be overly optimistic, but I think we can achieve world peace.
Okay. If a freaking turkey is able to convince Elaniolo to convert the Empire from a tyrannical dictatorship into a free democracy, and then the Aculon Empire ends up joining the Allies, then world peace wouldn't just be a far-fetched idea for wishful thinkers.
Can they do it?
It would actually happen. With this massive goal in mind, a freaking turkey prepared for tomorrow for his big meeting with Elaniolo.
Please! Please, I want to win this world peace for once!
Just remember everything we talked about. We'll be watching.
Before A Freakin' Turkey took off for the Snow Island, he had met with the 4 major plains leaders one last time to tell them what he hopes to achieve in his upcoming talk with Elanulo. The Plains leaders were pessimistic. See, when they heard about Elanulo's strict conditions for the meeting to take place, they suspected that this was going to be the meeting where Elanulo removes Turkey from his second-in-command position, or worse, puts Turkey in Aculon's prison.
I would love if they actually went that route, put him in prison, and everyone else unites to go and rescue Turkey. Oh my god, please! I'm sorry, it's just like so much more intense that way.
Whatever happens today, the Plains leaders promised Turkey that he has the full support of the allied nations. Even if they can't attend the meeting, they will be watching and will do whatever they can to help him.
Oh my god! He's an influencer!
There we go, Turkey is now back on the Snow Island.
Loved by the whole
I think he's going
world.
to the meeting right away.
I'm nervous for him! Oof.
This is weird. Turkey's been at the castle for like a few minutes now, and Elanulo's nowhere to be seen. Oh, he's right here. He's on his way.
What an incredible project to witness for almost 2 weeks.
Here we go. Everyone's here now. I think everyone's here now. Knights come to the castle. Wow, I think these are all the high-ranking officials of Aculon. They're all here.
Hear ye, hear ye. All barons, Duke Turkey, and fellow knights have now come together to speak with Emperor Elanulo. Elanulo, would you please start the conversation?
Wait. Turkey, hold up. So before we begin, sorry to interrupt. I have a special thing I want to do real quick.
Wait.
Here.
Drew, not yet. I want to do something first. Turkey, can you sit on the throne for a second?
What the fuck?
Why?
Just do.
Okay. What are we doing?
What is happening?
Can I trust you, Turkey?
What?
Yeah.
You like
What?
this, right? Sitting on the throne?
You put me on here. I don't know what you're talking about.
In front of all these people?
What are you getting on about?
I know that you've colluded with the Plains Alliance. But I know that you want to take over this nation.
No!
Take this throne for yourself.
Whoa. What?
There's nothing you can do at this point to convince me that you're not plotting a revolution against me. I caught you red-handed.
No! Elanulo! Yes, I've talked with Plains. I've also talked with Desert and Jungle. I am a diplomat. And I'll tell you this, all those people that I talked with will become our allies the moment we turn this place into an actual democracy.
Why are you secretly leading people off my island?
Because they thought you were going to kill them. And to be honest, so did I. So that's the point of this meeting. You want to get rid of me? You know what? How about I just leave, and you won't have to deal with me again? I'm just gonna go. Okay?
Let him go. Is he gonna let him go?
Yeah, and then you'll come back with an army.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, Turkey.
No! Turkey! No! Oh. That's a crazy execution. He just pulled the trigger. He doomed himself.
Oh. Wait, they're
Huh?
killing Turkey's supporters. They're hunting down his supporters as well. This is crazy.
No.
Like that, there was a purge on the Snow Island, and many of Turkey's supporters were killed. The few who were able to escape immediately swam to the other islands
The
to
refugees.
tell everyone exactly what happened.
And all of the knights started executing Bernie, Ender, Turkey. They assassinated some of the most loved members of Aculon.
When a freaking Turkey's death message appeared in chat, people around the world were outraged, and shortly after, the leaders of the allied nations started activating their militaries, putting them on standby.
Turkey once visited Los Pollos Hermanos. I'm giving the army ticket for 50% off to make sure they're ready for battle.
Meanwhile, Aladilo got word that the allies were preparing their armies, so he declared a full lockdown, reached out to his own allies, and called them to the Aculon castle to be ready in case the allies declare war. And sure enough, when the Blaze leaders talked with Theia and Seth, the votes was unanimous. On day 10, the Alliance of Democratic Nations officially declared war on the Aculon Empire.
Oh my god!
I just want to say I wish you luck and great success. Hopefully we all see some of you tomorrow to sign the constitution of the new Aculon Republic. The new Aculon Republic that we all dream about having. Thank you. Thank you all.
This isn't about us. This isn't about our lot. It's about getting justice for Turkey and ridding the world of tyranny.
All the allied nations met up at the center island so they could attack the Snow Island together.
Smart! Oh my god!
We fight for revenge. We fight for freedom.
I wish there's more of these! I know he just did another one recently, like 5 months ago. Oh my god!
Little did the allies know, Aladilo had set a trap. The Aculon builders had taken inspiration from history and created what they called the Iron Torch, the most advanced defensive tower in the world, complete with dangerous height, sturdy walls, arrow slits, and lava cover.
Crazy!
Crazy.
They're ready. They knew. They knew.
They're here.
Please tell me they brought something more than just themselves. The Battle of Aculon. For justice! For Turkey! Legit war in Minecraft! This is so cool! Oh my gosh. If they could just blow up the tower. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. No! How are they supposed to do this whole tower thing? One by one going up there. This was such a good, well executed plan. This is bad. This is bad for the allies. Oh, okay, they're building, they're crafting!
lava! They're dropping lava on them! What's up here now? Keep going!
Oh my god! Keep going!
They're right below!
They're dropping bombs! Wait, what? They made it! Oh my god! They did it! Yes!
Elangelo died? What? Elangelo died!
Oh my god, yes!
Soon after
Poetic!
Elangelo died, the Aculon Empire officially surrendered.
That was so freaking poetic. Like, it was not planned or anything like that, but for Alania to die from a high place is both, like, I feel like it's both metaphorical and, like, actually happening. Like, he literally did die from a high place, but I feel like that can also, like, you know, be, like, worded in a way that he died from a high position. I don't even know if they realized what they did, but this is so poetic.
Wait, Aculon's officials say they surrendered? Still kill them.
But even though Aculon surrendered, the allies didn't stop fighting. No mercy, no mercy. They're all saying
No mercy, no mercy.
Like that, there was a purge on the Snow Island. But this time, it was the supporters of Turkey doing the killing. This is just an absolute
Nice. Wow!
After a while, the Allies had completely taken over the Iron Torch, and all the Aculon forces had either been killed or had fled the island and gone into hiding. And with that, the Alliance of Democratic Nations had defeated the Aculon Empire.
World peace?
It was only when the war ended and the clouds parted that the Allies were finally able to reflect on what they had done. They had succeeded, but they had also shown no mercy. When their enemy surrendered, they continued to be ruthless and thirsty for blood. It was as if they had become their enemy. As the Allies each safely returned to their homes, now with a clear mind, many of them felt regret.
No mercy.
Neither side was completely innocent, and the war was complicated.
What was supposed to be a fight for justice became a manslaughter. They thought they came in doing something heroic, and they turned out to be the villains in the end. That's crazy.
But at least it was over. And the Allies had won.
More days later. Okay.
Over the next few days, the people of Plains, Theia, Seth, and a few smaller nations created a world alliance with a massive parliament building on the center island where world leaders met to discuss the affairs of their nations and, most importantly, to keep the peace. And the first order of business was pardoning the few living players who fought for Aculon so they didn't have to live in hiding.
Aww.
Meanwhile, the snow refugees were able to move back to the Snow Island and create the new Aculon Republic, putting democracy in snow. They also tore down the remains of the Iron Torch and put in its place a graveyard honoring all who died in the Battle of Aculon. And overlooking the graveyard was the man, or turkey, who inspired them all.
That's incredible!
And so, the jungle went back to hosting comedy shows, the desert went back to pursuing the arts, and Drift Chicken went back to running Los Pollos Hermanos. After all that happened throughout the days, things were finally settling down.
Netflix, please! Make this into a movie or a series!
For many
Would
players,
watch
the
again!
newfound peace allowed for new stories to begin. But for us, it's a good place to end.
That was so good! That was so good! Merry Christmas, everyone! Hopefully we too can accomplish world peace in the future. Amazing!